So hello guys, today we are going to do a leetcode question that goes by the name reverse string. The question number is 344 and it's an easy question. Okay, I'm just telling this because it is used in very much scenarios. Many times you have to use this method of reversing a string. Okay, so you should know if anyone asks you how to reverse a string, you should know, and you should know more than one way to reverse a string. Okay, so in this video I'm going to tell you more than one, maybe two, maybe three, depends. Okay, when not depends, I know. Okay, so I'll be telling you some ways to how to reverse the string. Okay, there are multiple ways, and many of you would already be knowing all the ways. Okay, but it's a it's a learning curve. Like you can always learn. So let us first try to read the problem statement, and I think the problem statement is like the title is very much convincing what we have to do. So just we have to reverse the string. Okay, still try to read the problem statement. Write a function that reverses the string. The input string is given as an array of characters S. You must do this by modifying array in place with O of one extra memory. Okay, so you are given some functions, you are given some characters. Okay, like you are given a vector of characters and you have to reverse it. It's just simple as that. Okay, so how can we do this? How can we do this? Okay, let us first. I'll tell you the first approach. Okay, first we'll see what is a vector of character. Vector of a character. Basically, vector of a character or a string all the methods will be working here. Okay. So if I have the string h, if I have this vector of character basically l and then o. Okay. So this is what I'm having. This is what I'm having. Okay. And what I have to do is I have to reverse it. I have to reverse it. So what it will look like after reversing? First O would come, then L, then L. Basically this is L, L, E, and then H. Okay, I'm not putting the single quotes because it might confuse you. Okay, so this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. Okay, basically, if I am given with this string, this vector of characters A, B, C, D, E, what I have to do is I have to change this to A, D, C, B, A. Okay, so we'll be going to see three methods. I'll tell you three ways how to reverse a string. Okay, how to reverse a string. Whether it is a vector of character, the same technique applies to vector of character or vector of integer or a string or anything you are given. Okay, like in a form, and you have to reverse it. So this is limited. This is like limited to arrays and stuff. The same technique cannot be applied to linked list. Cannot be applied to linked list. Okay, linked list has some different approaches that I've already made a video. You can just check it down. Okay, how to reverse a linked list. That is also an interesting topic, and it's a very much asked in interviews. Okay, so let me tell you the first approach. Let me tell you the first approach. Okay, let me tell you the first approach of how to reverse a string. Okay, we'll take a vector of characters for your convenience so that if anything comes, I can still reverse it. Okay, if I have to reverse this A, B, C, D, E, what is the first way I could think of? What is the first way I could think of? Sir, I can not sir, bhaiya, you can call me bhaiya. So what I can do is I can simply make an empty array of the same size. Empty array of the same size. Basically, I can declare if this is of size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is of size 5 because basically size 4 plus 1. It is of size 5. So I'll make an empty array. I'll make an empty array of characters. Empty array of characters. And I'll name this answer. I'll name this answer. I'll make it the same. I'll make it the same. Okay. And what I can do is I can simply start traversing from the end. I can simply start traversing from the end. Okay, simply start traversing from the end, and while traversing the end just store the end values at the first index. So if I'm at this index, I will be pointed to this index. Okay, so when I'm this, let it be I, let it be j. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply store it in my first index. Okay, so a is stored here. I'll simply move it backwards. My I would be here. Okay, and this j would move here. Okay, so d would be stored here. My j would move forward, my I is moved backward. So my c would be stored here, my I would move backward, my j would move forward. Okay, my b is stored here. Okay, my j would go forward, and my I would come backward. So This is how we can reverse a string. This is a very basic approach on how you can reverse a string. How you can reverse a string or a number, character, anything. Okay. Suppose if I'm given like this 1 2 3 4 5, I can still make an empty array and start traversing from the end, and can store it in the first place, can store it in the second place, can store it in the third place, can store it in the fourth place, and can store it in the fifth place. Okay, so it still works for all the scenarios. Okay, but is it a good approach? Is it a good approach? I am unnecessarily using of n space for such an easy task. Such an easy task. It is still requiring such an easy task. It is requiring me O of n space. What is my time complexity? Time complexity is O of n because I'm traversing my array once. Yes, it won't take any extra time because as we are traversing this, we are also hopping on one step ahead. Okay, so it will take a time complexity of O of n, and also it would take a space complexity of O of n. Okay, but can we optimize this? Can we optimize this? Let us see. I'll come to my second approach. I'll come to my second approach. Okay, my time complexity is right. Okay, time complexity is often which is kind of optimized. Okay, kind of optimized. So I need to optimize my space. I need to optimize my space. Can I optimize my space? Can I do it in one pass? Like, can I do it in O of one space? Let us see if I'm given with this array HELLO, or I would be given with the same array. Let us see A, B, C, D, and E. And I have to reverse this. And I have to reverse this. Okay. So what we were doing, when I was making an extra array, what I was doing was, when I was storing it in the first place, I could easily see that my last element has become my first element. Last element has become my first element. Okay. My second last element has become my second element. Okay. My third last element has become my third element. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. My fourth last element has become my fourth element. Okay. My element, my last element, last element has like my eighth element has become the last element for this. My first element in this has become the last element in this. Okay, so what was my first? If I just try the one based indexing, my one has gone to 5, my 2 has gone to 4, my 3 is still in its place, and my 4 has gone to 2, and my 5 has gone to 1. Okay, so what I can clearly observe is, 1 is getting replaced with the last index, 2 is getting replaced with the second last index, and the same thing happens. Same thing happens. So basically, what we are doing is, we are swapping the elements. Swapping the elements. And how we are swapping the elements? How we are swapping the elements? How we are swapping the elements? Basically, for the first element, I'll simply swap it with the last. For the second element, I'll simply swap it with the second last. And for the third element, I'll swap it with the third last element. Okay, so for this, I'll just simply swap it with this only. Okay, if I now consider this approach, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, what are the elements that would be swapped? This and this element would be swapped. Okay, so it would be like, as you can also see that we are using a two pointer based approach. Two pointer based approach here. Why? Because one pointer is pointing at the last index and one pointer is pointing at the first index. Okay, so this is my array. What I'm doing is I'm just swapping my first and last element. Okay, so in this case, my first and last element would be swapped. What would be my array look like? E and then A. All the other elements would be the same. B, C, and D would be same. Okay. Now, what would be my, suppose this is I, suppose this is J. What would be the next position of I and J? This will be my A, this will be my I, and this will be my J. Makes sense. Makes sense. I'll just come here, and now I'll again swap it. I'll again swap them because we were seeing that second element was getting replaced by the second last element, and the third element was replaced by the third last element. Okay, this was also happening. 4 was replaced with 2, 4 was replaced with 2, and 2 was replaced with 4. So we are basically swapping them. So it would be like ED B and A. And what would be still in its position? C would be still in its position. Okay. Now I will increment this I and I will decrement this j because I have done with this swapping. I have done with this swapping. I have done with this swapping. Okay. So my I would come here and my j would come here and my j would come here. I'll again swap. I'll again swap because swapping this won't give me any difference. So EDCBA. EDCBA is my answer. Is my answer. Okay, and what are my pointers pointing to? What are my pointers pointing to? Basically, if I just see, I'll still try to increment my I and still try to decrement my j. So my j would be here and my I would be here. Okay. So now should I swap them? Now should I swap them again? Should I swap them again? If I swap them again, what I'll see is basically I'll again get to this. I'll again get to this order. Okay, and this was my previous order. Okay, and I'll again my j will come here, my I would come here. I'll again just make sure to swap it, and it would become something like this. Is it my original answer? Is A B C D E the same as my original answer? So I don't have to do this. There's no need of doing this because it will undo our changes. Okay, so this is our stopping point. This becomes a stopping point. What becomes a stopping point? When my I would be greater than j, this is where I stop. This is where I stop. So I have to run a loop till my I becomes, my I is less than equal to j. Less than equal to j. This is the condition that I have to run up to. Okay, this is the condition that I have to follow. Okay, so as you can see, we have done the 2 pointers. We have just reversed the vector of character using the 2 pointers approach. I'll just take one more example. You tell what example should we take? We'll take the second example because, or I'll take the first example, or I'll take both. Okay, so it would be like HELLO. Okay, what is my first step? Like I know that I have to replace this element with this element with this element with this itself. Okay, just remember this case. Just remember before this. Just remember, if you have an even size array, what you will do is my I and j pointers would come close as this. Like my I would come here and my j would come here. They will be swapped. Okay, and there would be a condition that my j would be pointing here and my I would be pointing here. Like my I would be pointing here and my j would be pointing here. I is here, j is here, and this is the condition that we stop. So for the even index, I'll come this close. Okay, so I would be at this position and j would be at this position. They won't overlap. But for the odd index, for the odd number of elements, my elements would overlap, because as you can see, if I'm given with this and my I and j was pointing here, I'll come here, and at this position, as it has a middle element in common, so I and j would be pointing at the same position. I'll still swap it. Okay, okay, and my ending condition remains same, that when I is greater than j, I'll stop. I will stop. Okay, so now I'll take the second test case. What was the second test case? HELLO. Okay, my I would point here, my j would point here. My j would point at the last position. J would point here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just swap them. Okay, it would be something like this. My I is here, my j is here. Okay, I'll again swap them. It will be like LLEH. Okay, and my I would be here and j would be here. I'll again swap them. After swapping, what I'll see is my j is somewhere here and my I is somewhere here. And this is the condition that I stop. Okay, so as you can see, we have just reversed the array. Vector of character or vector of int. We can apply the same thing to anything. Okay, Okay, I just try this test case, H-A-N-N-N-A-H. Okay, it would be like H-A-N-N-A-H. As I just try to traverse, I and J is here and here. What I'll do is all that these elements will be swapped. So it would be like H-A-N-N-A and then H. Okay, my I would come here, my J would come here. I'll again swap them. My as the when they're swapped, when they're swapped, my A is still here. Okay, my A is still here because the elements were same. Okay, my I and J were pointing here. Okay, I'll still swap them. So it would be same, but the pointer's position will obviously change. So my I would be pointing here, J would be pointing here. As we can see that I is greater than J in this case. So this is where we stop. This is where we stop. Okay, this is where we stop. So this is what is my approach to the solution. Let us see the time and the space complexity. What is my time complexity? Is my time complexity O of n or O of 2n or O of 2n? No, not O of 2n. We have O of n. Why? Because my I is traversing the max till the middle element and my J is traversing the max till the middle element. It is not crossing each other. So they are both traversing n by 2 and n by 2 distance approximately. So what is n by 2 plus n by 2? What is n by 2 plus n by 2? O of n. Obviously. And what is my space complexity? My space complexity is O of 1 because we are not using any extra space. So see, we have optimized the space complexity. So what is my updated time and space complexity? My time complexity is O of n, which was the same as before, and my space complexity is O of 1. Okay, but here you told about 3 ways. What is the third way? Okay, third way is for your understanding. It's a basically STL function because you wouldn't write to reverse the string every time, right? You won't write 2 pointers approach every time now. So what you'll do is you simply use this reverse function, and what you'll do is this. If my string name, if this basically string str, okay, how will I reverse this? Basically str dot begin. This marks the beginning of the string, and str dot end. So this marks the end of the string. So basically this str function, and you are done with it. Okay, this str function is just stating that you reverse the string from the start to the end. So the string would be reversed. It's as easy as that. Okay, as easy as that. If you have a vector of char instead of this vector of char, okay, the syntax still remains same. It will be able to, just you have to replace the str with the name of the vector or the string or anything that you are using. Okay, not a list. Okay, list video is just below. Go and watch it. Okay, first what I'll do is I'll try to write the 2 pointers approach. Okay, what I'll do is I'll try to write this. My J would be pointing at the last position. And till when I'll go? Till my I is less than J. Okay, what I'll do is I'll simply swap my S of I with my S of J. Okay, and I'll do I plus plus and then J minus minus, because after swapping I'll have to move back. I'll simply try to run it. Okay, accepted. I'll try to submit. Okay, accepted. Okay, so this is using a time and space complexity of O of n respectively. But will you do this again and again? No, I'll just comment it and tell you what you have to do in your competitive assessments or anything you get. You just write this function, you write the name, you mark its starting, you mark its end, and you just write this, and in one line your thing is done. You're done with it. It basically uses the same concept, like it uses the 2 pointers technique only inside. Okay, but you just have to write one line and your thing is done. Okay, so I was basically telling you the approach to solving this question. So I hope you guys like the solution. If you have any doubts, you can just ping it on the comments, and if you like the solution, do like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.